it debuted 3 whole decades ago, we've seen dozens of Pokemon games arrive on Nintendo consoles. While the main series has led the charge, those generations have inspired numerous spin-offs, sub-series, and one-shots, meaning there's multiple fresh takes on everyone's favorite pocket monsters to enjoy. But which Pokemon games are the very best like no game ever was? Do the original Game Boy classics still reign supreme? Have the modern Switch-based Legends games superseded the likes of Gold and Silver? Or could a strange strategy crossover game like Pokemon Conquest steal the crown? To answer that question, IGN's team of resident Pokémaniacs have battled it out, with words, not monsters, to determine the very best Pokemon games. We've judged them all based on how well they use the Pokemon setting, their innovations to the monster battling formula, and their overall enduring quality. Only the games that excel in all these areas can make the list. So let's take a look at the group we've decided are the top 10 Pokemon games of all time. It may be the most recent game in the franchise, but Pokémon Legends Z-A is an exciting look into the future of pocket monsters. A total overhaul of the classic 30-year-old battle system sees turn-based attack rallies transformed into real-time action sequences, bringing the video games closer to the epic clashes of the beloved anime than ever before. With its wide-open wild zones and exciting encounter designs, Z-A takes the good ideas laid down in its predecessor, Pokémon Legends Arceus, and evolves them into a new and improved form. While these upgrades don't exactly turn the experience into Pokémon for adults, options for deeper, more competitive play and a more intimate, emotionally mature story certainly makes the trip to Lumiose City feel like a new and exciting step for the series' veterans. After a series of missteps, Z-A finally sees Pokémon's 3D era hitting its stride. The original Pokémon Snap was a strange, wonderful little experience back in the day, well ahead of its time. And now, new Pokémon Snap offers a magnificent reimagining of the joy of Pokémon photography. The sequel has more Pokémon, areas, puzzles, and photo possibilities than the original game ever could have dreamed. New Pokémon Snap's creatures are adorable and alive, interacting with one another, the world, and you in increasingly delightful ways. It never fails to entice you to go on just one more expedition to solve the mysteries of how to get every single rare and beautiful shot. And the DLC makes it worth further revisiting. New Pokémon Snap is the ideal expansion to one of the most inventive spin-offs ever. And that's saying something.
I'll take a look at the card.
Sword and Shield marked the start of Pokemon's life on the Nintendo Switch, and brought with it an impressive array of quality of life improvements for both casual gym badge acquirers and competitive battlers alike.
Thundurus is going to go for a Max Lightning, this time find its mark on that Charizard and get the knockout against it!
Not bad for a game that lacks a complete national Pokédex. Random encounters are largely replaced by Pokemon that frolic in the overworld, like the innovative new Wild area, making exploration and backtracking smooth and easy. Pokemon's moves can be changed at will at any Pokemon Center, so choosing a new one isn't an agonizing decision shadowed by consequences. And with the introduction of new items like Nature Mints and other breeding mechanics, battle-ready Pokemon are much more realistically within reach. By removing a set of long-standing barriers, Sword and Shield allowed experimentation, creativity, and fun to flow like never before. Pokémon Puzzle League is quietly one of the best-looking games on the Nintendo 64. Seriously. Borrowing heavily from the anime's look and style, it includes clips, voice acting, and other flourishes more commonly found on the disc-based systems of the era.
Way to go!
It takes an otherwise unassuming puzzle game and positively drenches it in Pokémon, recreating the gym battles from the original games while also featuring duels with Team Rocket. At its core, Pokémon Puzzle League is effectively a reskin of Panel de Pon, an outstanding Super NES puzzle game in which blocks are cleared by arranging colors in horizontal or vertical lines. Combined with the familiar look of the anime, it makes for an immensely entertaining competitive puzzle game that can drain away entire afternoons. Much loved among Pokemon fans and puzzle enthusiasts alike, it deserves to be remembered as an excellent Pokemon game in its own right. In 2016, the Pokemon Company joined forces with augmented reality game developer Niantic to create Pokemon GO, the mobile game that took the world by storm. We all remember that magical summer when it seemed like virtually everyone was outdoors on their personal Pokemon adventure. But what began with the simple premise of seeking out Pokemon to catch in real-world spaces has gone on to become an expansive mobile game, packed with more than just pocket monsters. Everything from PvP battling to Team Rocket has been added, making Pokemon GO an impressively robust game. And it shows no signs of slowing down thanks to numerous updates, adding new Pokemon, special spawn events, and even Pokemon GO Fest, where trainers from all over the world meet up to play together, making Pokemon GO a one-of-a-kind, endlessly entertaining experience. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were worthy successors to Gold and Silver, introducing double battles, abilities, and natures. But it was Pokemon Emerald that took everything that was good about those games and truly polished it into something legendary. Perhaps the most fleshed-out third version in the history of the franchise, it brought forth several worthwhile changes, and top among them was the Battle Frontier, which made for the most complete and rewarding post-game content in the series to date. Different Frontier Brain trainers to challenge across the 7 distinct facilities, it offered a serious challenge to trainers that arguably hasn't been met since. It's a testament to its enduring quality that even 2 decades after release, Pokemon Emerald continues to stand as one of the best Pokemon games ever made. Pokemon Conquest is a unique and unmissable Pokemon game. Yes, this pairing of Pokemon with strategy game Nobunaga's Ambition came entirely out of left field, but it works so astonishingly well that it finds itself among not just the best Pokemon spin-off titles out there, but also easily competing with the franchise's mainline generations. Pokemon Conquest exists in its own fantastic world with its own rules, in which warriors link with Pokemon instead of catching them, and grow and evolve right alongside them. Collecting sets of both the vibrant characters, occasionally drawn from history, and cool Pokemon puts a new spin on catching them all. On the battlefield, the environmental obstacles and positioning add an extra strategic layer to Pokemon's familiar element-focused battle system. As a strategy RPG, Pokemon Conquest has its own unique flair drawn from both its sources, twice as sweet. Sure, Pokemon Red and Blue, or Green, are the games that started it all, and deserve to be lauded for establishing the worldwide monster-catching phenomenon in the first place. But Game Freak proved with FireRed and LeafGreen that nostalgia isn't everything, and even the beloved originals can be improved on. FireRed and LeafGreen are fantastic remakes, introducing numerous new features such as a recap of previous activities, a first attempt at wireless trading and battling, a brand new area in the Sevi Islands, and all the massive improvements to typing, battling, and Pokemon moves that have been added in generations since. Red and Blue may maintain a warm place in our hearts all these years later, but by far the best way to re-experience the excellent region of Kanto is through FireRed and LeafGreen. Gen 5 was a revolutionary era for the Pokemon franchise, and the first ever direct sequels, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, encapsulate everything that made it so great. The original Black and White game set a solid foundation by introducing the Unova region, filled with all new Pokemon, a captivating story with an all-time great rival, and music that absolutely shreds. The sequels made all that soar to new heights. The massive Pokédex features creative monster designs and unique typings, and most notably, mixes in legacy Pokémon that make early game team building much more exciting. The story builds on the events of the first games, offering an epic and hard-earned payoff to the overall narrative. And visually, Black 2 and White 2 take full advantage of the Nintendo DS hardware to deliver breathtaking 3D vistas, dense cities, cinematic bridge traversals, and intricate details throughout. Not to mention, Black 2 and White 2's post-game is incredible. You catch numerous legendaries, sharpen your battling skills at the Black Tower or White Tree Hollow, and try your luck in the Battle Subway or the Pokémon World Tournament. Unquestionably, these games offer a definitive Pokémon experience, but they're not quite the very best. Simply put, Pokémon HeartGold and SoulSilver are as good as it gets. After all, the original Pokémon Gold and Silver were near-perfect sequels. They expanded on the first generation's Pokédex, added 2 new types that significantly balanced out the weakness-resistance chart, and famously included the entire Kanto region as a bonus to players who beat Johto's Elite Four. Later, Crystal took those games, added an option to play as a male or female trainer, animated Pokémon sprites, and enhanced the story with a focus on Suicune. Then, somehow, Pokémon HeartGold and SoulSilver took those original games and made them even better in virtually every way possible. Updating the graphics, including several core and quality of life changes from the Gen 4 games, and created an experience that we can definitively say is the best Pokémon has ever been. Nothing in Pokémon, and we mean nothing, has been as thrilling, challenging, or downright rewarding as fighting Red and putting everything you've got into being the very best like no one ever was. And there we have it, the 10 best Pokémon games ranked. We chose them all, even if HeartGold and SoulSilver will always be our first pick. What did you think of our list? Head to the comments and let us know your thoughts and hot takes. We know you've got them. For more, why not check out our ranking of the best Pokémon spin-off games? And for everything else Pokémon, stick with IGN.